Okay, everyone. Welcome today to our webinar around mastering Amazon Prime using M.O.M 10. So this is a continuation of the webinar series that we have going on, talking about different useful features in M.O.M. We've looked recently at different e-commerce. We started talking about how Shopify is available as a cart that also integrates with M.O.M. Today, we're going to look at the different features that have been added into M.O.M 10 around Amazon Prime and making it easier to prioritize those types of orders that come in so you can get them out the door faster as part of your, I guess I would call it obligations, if you're part of the Seller Fulfilled Prime program. But first, as always, a little bit of housekeeping. Indeed, we have begun recording, so for any of you, I noticed a couple of you have just joined in. You didn't miss anything. A business day after we're done with the webinar, I will have it sent, the recording, directly to your email addresses so you guys can review any of the things that you might not have caught or something you might want to take a closer look at. Most of you know this, but I find that every now and then we have attendees who come in who haven't actually attended one of our webinars before, so we like to invite you to ask questions at any time. On the right-hand side of your screen with this call-out, you'll see a questions panel under GoToWebinar. So you'll want to click that to drop down, and then you can type in any questions that you have. Go ahead and type those at any time. My colleague Ian and I are keeping an eye on them, so we will either type our answers to you right there, and or if it's appropriate during the course of the presentation, we will address it there. And don't be shy about the questions, because if you have a question about something, chances are very good that of our many other M.O.M users, someone will have a question about that as well. Now, let me see. In this case, we're looking to see if we can attach a data sheet about M.O.M 10 over here. So before the end of the webinar, I'll see if I can revisit this. A quick note on our webinar guides today. With me today on the line is Director of Product Management, Ian Owano. He'll say something, he has something to say to you guys.
Hey guys, Ian here. I've been with the company 12 years, so some of you guys might probably work with me through my days in implementation as well as on support. Currently now heading the product department for M.O.M, the M.O.M suite, so you guys will be looking to improve the M.O.M product and the selling product.
Exactly. Ian has been hard at work putting all these different features together, including getting Shopify integration out there so it's ready to use. Now, on the other side, communications and training is myself. Now, many of you who've been receiving our emails over the last few years would have encountered some of the things that I've sent out, and now I'm handling even more of those emails as well as presentations about the product just like this one. Moving right along into our agenda for today. I promised we would keep things short and sweet, and that's exactly what we plan to do. The first thing we're going to look at is Amazon and M.O.M. Basically, what are the current processes if you're using an earlier version of M.O.M and you're also an Amazon seller? Then we're going to take a look, as I mentioned right at the start, at M.O.M 10 features and how that's changed the equation a bit with Amazon. Notably, it's going to help you, how it's going to help you save some time. And then Ian has just a note or so about Seller Fulfilled Prime. This particular program at this point has been out for more than a year. I think it's been tested for more than a year. And there's just one or two notes we want to mention when you're using M.O.M to be aware of, what to be aware of as you're looking into this. So Amazon, I've got one question for you guys. So those of you on the line, this is a good time for you to use that questions panel. How long have you been selling on Amazon? How long have you had an Amazon store? This is just useful for me and Ian to know right now as we look. It just gives us a sense of the extent of the experience you have. So give me a second. I'm going to pull up the panel on my end to take a look. So Daniela is saying they've been using it for 2 years. Sean's saying they've been doing 4 to 5 years. Christine's been going for 1 year. Jason, you guys have been going for 10 plus years. That's pretty cool. You've been with Amazon for quite a while. And then James, 8 months. So as you can hear, you guys are definitely spanning the gamut, the examples, the range of people using Amazon here. So I'm excited to hear because really we've got people who've just started to sell over Amazon, and we have 1 or 2 that have been doing this for many, many years. That's excellent. Now, Amazon and M.O.M. Ian's going to walk us through the process for what we have heard is like for many of you guys as you're selling, whether you have just begun or even if you've been using Amazon a little bit longer with earlier versions of M.O.M. So let me pull up this slide now, and Ian will talk through this next one, and then we'll actually jump over to M.O.M.
So currently, if you are selling, regularly, if you're doing Prime now, what you need to do if you're using M.O.M is you'd actually have to log into your Sales Central. You would print your pick tickets or pick slips, and then you would actually buy shipping that actually prints the labels on the Amazon side. Amazon does this so that they know that you can ship within the 2-day period that they promised the client. Once that is done, you then have to manually enter that Prime order into M.O.M. That's a lot of cut and pasting the client information or the order information back into M.O.M. And then you would then ship that order and mark it paid or process the order in M.O.M. Now that's one order. Obviously, each time you have an order on the Prime side, you would actually have to repeat this. Now for non-Prime orders currently, you can simply just hit a download button on the M.O.M side to download the order. But this is specifically if you're a Prime and M.O.M. So that's what you have to currently do, repeat each of those steps. So next I'm going to show you guys how that will actually work now with Prime and M.O.M 10 and Prime. So Robert's going to make me the presenter here, and I'll bring up the M.O.M side. I'm going to talk about the settings in M.O.M and how they're actually going to work with Prime. So
all right, just so you got control, and we see your screen.
Perfect. Thank you for that confirmation there. So first thing is what we did for M.O.M 10 is we added a new tab for Prime order shipping. And what we do is we define a shipping method, and what we also added here is a simple rate shopping for you, so you can actually just say once the order is imported into M.O.M, you can either have it the lowest shipping cost, or you can have it the fastest delivery date based on the earliest estimated or the latest estimated. Amazon gives us that. And what we actually do is we actually just download the labels from Amazon and we store it locally. And then once the labels are stored locally, we actually use that to print the actual labels from M.O.M. So you no longer going back and forth between Amazon Sales Central and M.O.M to actually get your labels. M.O.M's actually doing that things for you. So let me show a couple more features that we have for Amazon Prime. So as you download the orders, we thought that you would like to see how do we recognize those Prime orders. So what we did is we actually added different priorities for Amazon, specifically Amazon Prime. So on here, on list status of pending, if you guys are familiar with this, we added a couple priorities. So now you can see here, typically it was just H for high priority, but we added A for Amazon Prime if you had to premium, and if you have the regular Amazon standard, which is the non-Prime orders, you can easily identify those now. So for this example, I'm going to use Amazon Prime, and once I do that, I can easily see and identify the Prime orders I have in the M.O.M system. Now, the way our system works is that we would need you to print the pick ticket and packing slips first, and then you can print the actual Amazon label. So typically, depending if you do batch or you do package workstation or you do it within the order, you could do all those. So I'm going to show you the batch. So in the batch scenario, you would actually be running it stage 1 and 2 here. Again, we gave you the option because, again, we thought that since it's Prime order, that might be a higher priority for you. So we had made sure that you can actually select those orders prior. Let me just a second here. What is this? Sorry, guys, working from home here, so there's a disconnect there on the server. Let me just...
Ian, while you're taking a look at that, I just want to point out we have a question from Daniela that let me know once you're done showing that particular section and we can take it. It has to do with buying Amazon postage.
Yeah, so Daniela, on that question for postage, it's actually Amazon actually lets you put in your information there, so they give you an agreement and they actually work off your account. So once you put in your account there, you can buy postage through your account or whatever negotiated rates you might have.
So to clarify then, Daniela wanted to ask, do we still have to buy postage in Amazon? Do we still have to do that?
Yeah, it's actually what we're doing in the M.O.M side is actually we're clicking, if you're familiar with Prime and Amazon Prime, there's a buy shipping on the Amazon side, which typically buys the postage. What we're doing is we're actually calling that same function from within the M.O.M program.
So basically, Daniela, to make sure that you're catching it, it still does have, of course, the process still has to happen, but what's been cool is it's been added into M.O.M. We're going to try to show that in a moment.
So also over here, on the batch screen as I was going, you can check the stage 1 and 2 for a pick ticket and packing slip, and we added this checkbox to only include the prime order. So if you want to segregate the different prime orders that you have in the system, you can do so by doing this, or you can go back to the priorities and process your orders depending on how to prioritize the Amazon orders. So we gave you some options there on how you want to process these things. So for now, I'm going to actually go to an actual order and show the buy button within the order.
Great.
No, keep using. So you can see here, in this case, there's a buy shipping here. So this is a similar button that Danielle brought up about what is in Amazon. So basically, this was actually call on the Amazon side and give you options on what shipping is available. So if you guys are using Prime, this should look familiar to you. We kind of designed it similar to Amazon. You can pick and choose the service that you'd like to ship the orders in, and you can tell right here it tells you when it's going to be delivered and the actual cost. It's going to cost you to ship it to your client. And then some mailing options here if you want to do signature or no signature or confirmations, and when the ship date is. So once you choose a particular service, and like I said, I'm going to do the pick ticket and packing slip in this particular example, and you'll see that it will make the confirm/print button here go live. So I'm going to put that through the process. So you can see here, the confirm/print here is now live. So if I actually do this, this is actually going to buy a postage on Amazon, which I'm not going to do right now because I have my account attached to it. But so one way we actually process this is we actually print here, and once we get the postage, this will actually update the PS and the box label tags on the order level to be shipped. So now what I've just showed you is you can do it one at a time. You can pick the service that you'd like to ship it at, and then print the label within the order itself. So if you do it one at a time, that's great. But some people would like to do it in batch. So what we did is, if you're familiar with our Amazon module, we actually added a new stage on the e-commerce manager station. So over here, we actually added print prime order. So what we did is we added this view order. So if you process 8 by itself, it will actually process everything on this list. But what we also added is that a filter. So if you wanted to kind of filter or put an order number range in there so you only process 10 at a time, you can do so, and you can use the filter here to do that. So once you choose your filter and you hit print here, that will print all the labels that you need for Amazon, your Amazon Prime orders, and obviously you can put that in your boxes and put the label in there, and then like I said, the system will automatically mark those orders as shipped and completed in M.O.M. So that's how the Amazon Prime currently works in M.O.M. So Robert, I'm going to send this back to you and then see if there's any questions on this.
Great, excellent. Just let me know once it looks like control is back to me.
Sure, let me just go back to that. That should be back to you now, Robert.
All right, thanks, Ian. So indeed, a couple of questions are coming in, and this is good because right now, Ian having just summarized, let me see here. So let me actually move the slide along to the next one, which just describes in high-level detail the things that Ian asked here. Daniela is asking, is the order number that comes in the same as the one in Amazon?
Yeah, so M.O.M, once you import the order from Amazon, M.O.M does generate its own order number, but we also keep the Amazon as the alternate order number, so you'll have that Amazon order as well.
Now, Alicia's asking, does the system also upload to Amazon the shipping tracking information details, or is that a separate step to be done?
Well, there's two things I want to clarify there. For non-prime orders, yes, we'll upload the tracking numbers from M.O.M to Amazon. But if it's a prime order, since you're generating the buy shipment through Amazon, Amazon already has the tracking information. So all we're doing is we're actually getting the tracking number from Amazon and updating it into M.O.M.
Yeah, so the entire point of the Prime updates is to make them about as automated in the what I like to think of this M.O.M funnel as much as the other pieces are. Alicia, let me know if what Ian explained has made sense, though. So again, this particular screen that I have on the slide just summarizes the various items that Ian had taken you through taking a look at M.O.M 10. All right, Alicia, great. It's good to hear that makes sense. So again, he demonstrated what it looks like when the packing slips are now printable from M.O.M, where you don't have to log into your Seller Central account and then print those packing slips and do the buy shipping. It's now available from the Amazon Prime orders in M.O.M that have come in. The shipping label printing can now be processed in batch from that e-commerce manager station. The new order filtering that Ian showed now lets you say, hey, let me actually look at the Prime orders and get them out first. So this way, I know they're on the way, they're good to go, and they'll meet whatever shipping standard it is that Amazon had manipulated. And
I
of
just want
course,
to point out the importance of being able to prioritize Amazon Prime orders is because of the the requirements from Amazon to ship it within 2 days, and obviously they keep track of your records and how well you go against that. And I believe one of those requirements is you have to be at least, I think, in the high 90 percentiles to actually be to keep your Amazon status to be able to ship Prime. So that's something
I
important to keep in
recall
mind.
they do keep, exactly, and they do keep a pretty stringent measure of the merchants that, the requirements for the merchants that are part of the Seller Fulfilled Prime program. Let's see, we're getting a question in from Kyle. Kyle is asking, when you print the label, does it use a custom shipping label template that needs to be printed at a shipping terminal, or can you print it on a regular printer?
It can be printed on a regular printer, Kyle. The main requirement we have is that that computer that is printing the label has access to that path I showed where the label is going to be stored at. As long as it has network access to that location, it doesn't have to necessarily be the shipping terminal to print the label.
Perfect. Now, let's see here. Ian also had a continuation to the items that had been shown here, and it's that when you're starting to use M.O.M 10 to manage your Amazon Prime orders a little better, there's something within Seller Central to be aware of. Ian, I'll move over the slide. So,
before you go do that, Robert, I just want to cover the updated API really quick.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The updated API obviously includes the free economy shipping and the shipping standard, the new shipping standards from Amazon. But also want to point out that if you're running version 8 or lower, it's possible that you're no longer be able to download the orders because Amazon had sunsetted the APIs being used on 8. So we were using the 2011 APIs on the version 8 and lower. So then the order download endpoints for those API calls are no longer existent on Amazon. So if you're having issues, that's most likely what you're facing. The new versions of M.O.M does have support for that, just to point it out.
Ian, I also want to clarify on that point, in case any of our listeners may not have really caught that with the update, with the API that Amazon has actually sunset, so long as our audience right now, I remember you and I took a look at attendees and we see that most people are on version 8, version 9, that's one of those items that so long as they stay up to date with their program updates, they should also not have an issue with their current Amazon processes, right?
For version 9, yes, there's a deal update that's available out there that you can apply to your existing M.O.M system that would allow you to use the newer APIs.
Great. Now, let's see. There is another item over here around managing shipping services.
So this is the part Robert tried to intro. So as we're getting clients up and running on Amazon Prime, and this is one of the common things that we see, this is actually on the Seller Central side, you need to actually make sure that you actually accept these terms and conditions. So this is relating to the buy shipping services on the Amazon side. So make sure that you go here, and this is part of our documentation. If you call support or implementation, we'll actually tell you where this link is, and you can actually make sure you accept it. These terms and conditions, so the different carriers that you might use with your Amazon Prime, and that way when M.O.M actually makes a call to Amazon, it actually allows you to do it. If you don't do this, and we actually make a call to Amazon, there's going to be an error on the M.O.M side. that you're going to see. So I just want to make sure that we be proactive on this and make sure that if you are going to be going to Prime, we take care of this ahead of time.
Great, thank you. Now, I'm going to move us along to just one of the final slides here before we open up to any additional questions. These are just the multitude of features that have been in the version 10 update to M.O.M. So you see, any of you who've tuned into some of our M.O.M 10 webinars over the last, I want to say half year or so, have heard some, maybe not quite half year, the last couple of months, but you guys have heard a decent amount around the 4 themes that we've organized the product features into. Today, we took a look at the subsegment around the Amazon Seller Fulfilled and Amazon Prime support that have been added in. So we have mostly covered the main chunk of mastering Amazon Prime with M.O.M 10. We've addressed a number of different issues that could come up during the process, a few of the features that have been added in, and now we'll actually open it up to any general questions that you guys may have. Any of the features here, we'd be glad to take a quick look at. I can just pass control over to Ian and we can quickly talk through any of them. But I'd say we have a good 20 minutes left here open to questions around Amazon or around any of the features in 10. This is a good time for us to reiterate it, show it to some of you guys for the first time. So I'm going to hold on for a moment and take a look at that question panel. There's a couple questions coming in.
There's a question here from Sean here, I see. The sunset actually supposed to happen at the end of February, but I guess, Sean, you were still able to download until this Monday, so they must have extended it. But from what they've been sending out as their notification, they were going to sunset it towards the end of February. But I guess they extended it, like I said, since you were able to download until Monday. But to kind of address your issue, then, like you said, you mentioned you already purchased version 10. Once you install that, you should be able to go back to download your orders again.
Okay, great. We're going to hold on a moment here, guys. You'll hear some radio silence as we take a look at these questions. And if you could also take a quick look at those questions panel as well. I think there's a question or two directly addressed to you.
Yeah, just want to understand. James, just clarify, I think, are you from the GPS store, if I believe that's correct? And I think you're talking about the fees for Amazon and making it prepaid coming in, is that correct?
He's confirmed, yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's something we have on the list, James. So once we have that, then obviously we'll let you know. Just to give you a quick update, we did get a fix ready for you for the descriptions, or the reports where it was storing the preference, the last lookup. So we did have that fixed. So that's coming out probably the end of the month when we release on the 28th. Okay. As far as the Amazon prepaid, that's something we're still working on.
So again, everyone, I know you guys asked a bunch of questions during the presentation itself already. We're just carving out another 5-10 minutes here for any additional questions that may not have come up that you might be curious about as it applies to your situation. Again, we have quite a range of people using Amazon, from people that have just been using it a few months to one gentleman for 10 plus years. It's quite a while. We'd also be glad to talk quickly about any of the other features that you see here if there's something that you're curious about or you don't understand the meaning of. In fact, I do want to point out one item. Our SiteLink, one of our talented SiteLink developers, Sucheta, had recently told me, Robert, I took a look at that M.O.M 10 list, and I realized there was another item here that we sometimes gloss over, which is just something small but simple for optimizing your system, and that's just the ability to reply to reviews on SiteLink. So I said, all right, we'll definitely make sure to include it for the next time we talk to our customers on a M.O.M 10 related webinar. Daniela is asking a question more related to Amazon on the last slide. So Daniela, I'll move back to that last slide just so you can take a look. Ian, Daniela is asking, how do we get to this screen here on Amazon Seller Central, the one with managing shipping services?
Now let me just go back to that. Oh, there's actually a link. We can actually send that link. It pretty much requires you to log in. But once you log in, it'll take you to this link. But we do have that link, Daniela, so if you need that, we can send that over.
Yeah, Ian, we actually can send it out right through the chats and the questions panel. We can do that right now so that anyone who wants to go and take a look and make sure it's set up can have it. Do we want to do that?
Yeah, that should be fine. You should ask them to log into their own account, but that should be fine.
Yeah, so let me go and grab that link, everybody. All right, everyone, I've gotten the link. I'm going to copy and paste it into the chat box on the right side of the screen. Give me a second. This should send to each of you in the entire audience. I sent it, so just give me a holler if you're not seeing that come up in your chat box. I'm seeing a question coming in here from Sean. He wants to clarify. He wants to know, will they be able to publish items through M.O.M in version 10 without the UPC requirement in the e-commerce tab? So basically, they have brand registry through Amazon since they're the manufacturer, and they use item descriptions instead of UPC.
Typically, in those cases, we do allow that, but it's really Amazon that stops it. So as long as you have a exception from Amazon, that typically goes up.
That's definitely good to hear. Now, we have another question coming in from Kyle asking about having to do with refunds here. He's saying that they've been processing Amazon refunds through the Amazon module until the old API was just sunsetted. And then they've started to manually process refunds through Amazon site. So they're asking, once they update to version 10 and start using the module again, they want to make sure it won't try to retroactively issue the refunds that they already handled manually.
Two things there. Yes, it should. Moving forward, that should fix the refund issue that you had, so you don't have to actually go to Amazon to do that. But what I want you to look for is when you go to version 10, as long as those orders are still intact, meaning don't actually have a refund or a return on them, then you should be okay. Because once Mom sees a return on that particular order and invoice it, then it'll actually trigger in the refund to Amazon. So you would have to make sure that you inspect those particular orders that have been questioned, make sure they're all closed up and there's no actual returns there. If you're actually doing a refund, that should be separate. They should leave it as completed in M.O.M so it doesn't want to trigger on the refund or return on the Amazon side.
Great. Good to hear. That's helpful, Kyle. All right. So we are still making very good on the time that we have today. We'll allot just a couple more minutes here. If you have questions, last chance during this webinar or until perhaps next week for any people who signed up and then may have missed it. So while you have myself and Ian here, are there any final questions having to do with the Amazon features, any of the M.O.M 10 features? I'll wait another minute or so before we go ahead and wrap up. As I had promised, as each of you ask these different questions, I find that these sound like exactly the kind of questions that others of you here in the audience may want to know. So I've just incremented our slide deck here and moving forward to our wrap-up, which is you guys probably know some of the next steps. I've heard from a couple of you in the questions panel throughout today saying that you've already purchased M.O.M 10 and you're waiting for implementation, you're waiting to schedule some time to get it set up, which is exciting for us to hear. It's good to hear that you're coming on to the latest version here. So as you have any questions, go ahead, send them to us at marketing@freestylesolutions.com. Even faster, you can just dial our 800 number here, and you can speak directly with Greg or Tom at the extensions listed over here, and they'd be glad to answer any queries that may have come up as well. Anything that they're not 100% sure of, they'll forward over to myself and Ian and anyone else to answer. Otherwise, everyone, thank you for taking about an hour of your time today to come join us and listen in to how to master Amazon Prime using M.O.M 10. It was good seeing a bunch of familiar faces and a few new ones, and I hope we'll see you guys at a webinar soon. Thank you all, and have an awesome day.